For the next few minutes, I'm not just going to talk at you. I'm going to take you through something, an experience, a shift. Because by the time we're done, you won't just understand what's been holding you back. You'll feel something inside you change. You'll start seeing things differently, not just your thoughts, but the way your reality has been shaping itself around you this whole time without you even noticing. And once that happens, everything starts falling into place effortlessly. So here's what I ask of you. For the next few minutes, let go of distractions. Give yourself this moment fully, completely, because what you're about to hear isn't just something to learn, it's something to step into. So let's begin. I want you to go all the way back to a moment in your life when something you wanted badly just wouldn't happen. Maybe it was a relationship, a job, an opportunity, something you kept thinking about, hoping for, even obsessing over. And no matter what you did, it just wouldn't manifest. Now, contrast that with another moment, a time when something incredible just fell into place effortlessly, a time when you barely even thought about it, maybe didn't even care that much, yet suddenly it happened, almost like magic. Why does this happen? Why do the things we chase seem to run further away, while the things we're indifferent about seem to flow to us without resistance? Well, there's a hidden mechanism behind this. In fact, many people either haven't paid attention to it or have no idea it even exists. First, let me tell you why this happens, because once you fully understand this, I'm going to give you a simple but powerful way to start using it intentionally. And once you start applying this, you'll see a dramatic shift. The very things that once felt out of reach will start flowing towards you effortlessly. So listen closely, because this is the moment everything changes. The universe, or more accurately, your reality, isn't something that's happening to you. It's something that's responding to you. And this is where most people get stuck. You're not waiting on reality to change. Reality is waiting on you. Think about it. How many times have you wanted something so badly, but it just wouldn't come? And then, the moment you stopped caring, the moment you let it go, boom, it showed up. That's not a coincidence. That's the law. Because when you chase, when you obsess, when you keep looking for proof, you're telling reality that you don't have it. And reality will always mirror back what you believe, the state you're in. But the moment you stop needing it, stop checking, stop trying to control it, that's when it starts moving towards you. Not because you gave up, not because you stopped wanting it, but because you shifted into the version of yourself that already has it. And when that happens, everything aligns. This is exactly what Neville Goddard was trying to get you to see. He said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that assumption, sustained, will harden into fact. Now think about that for a second. He didn't say hope for it. He didn't say wish for it. He said assume it, and assumption isn't trying. It's knowing. When you assume something is already yours, you don't chase it. You don't keep looking for signs. You don't sit there wondering when it will come, because in your mind, it already has. And that's exactly why doing nothing is the key. Because the moment you assume it's done, you stop interfering. You stop overthinking. You stop doubting. You stop trying to force it into place. And that's when things begin to move, because reality finally has the space to shift without resistance. You've probably noticed this strange pattern in life. The things you desperately want always seem to take forever, but the things you don't really care about, they show up effortlessly. Why does this happen? It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's a hidden mechanism at play, one that most people don't even realize is shaping their reality every single day. And this mechanism explains why the things you desperately want always seem just out of reach, while the things you're indifferent about seem to fall into place effortlessly. When you don't care, You're not blocking it. You're not overthinking. You're not caught up in doubt, worry, or second guessing. You're not forcing, controlling, or trying to manipulate the outcome. You're not constantly checking in, wondering, or waiting. And that's exactly why it flows. Because the moment you detach, you shift from a state of lack to a state of knowing. And when you know, when you trust, you create space for reality to deliver. That's the hidden key most people never see. It's not about doing more, it's about allowing more. And because of that, it flows. Think about it. Have you ever lost something? Your keys, your phone, maybe an important paper? And the more you searched for it, the more impossible it was to find. But the moment you gave up, stopped looking, and moved on, it magically appeared right in front of you. That's how reality works. When you're in a state of needing, of chasing, of trying to control every little detail, you're actually pushing what you want further away. Because every time you say, "Where is it? Why isn't it here yet?" you're reinforcing the reality that it's not here. But when you let go, when you stop gripping so tightly, stop forcing things into place, stop trying to micromanage how and when it will happen, suddenly everything starts shifting. So the real question isn't why this happens. The real question is, how do you use this to bring everything you've ever wanted into your life without pretending you don't care? Because let's be real, you can't fake detachment. You can't just sit there and say, "Okay, I don't care anymore," while deep down, you're still checking, still waiting, still hoping. That's not letting go. That's pretending to let go. And here's the thing. Reality doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you actually feel. So how do you truly let go? How do you detach without forcing it? Without struggling to feel nothing? Without tricking yourself into believing something you don't actually believe? Because once you understand this, everything changes. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. Stay with me. The first step, the very first step, stop chasing. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you've been in "I need this to happen" mode. And that mode is keeping you stuck. Because every time you think, "Where is it?" or "Why isn't it here yet?" you're reinforcing the fact that it's not here. The truth is, if you already had it, you wouldn't be searching for it. So let me ask you, if it was already done, how would you feel? Would you be anxious? Number, would you be constantly checking? Number, would you be doubting? Number, you'd be relaxed, confident, certain. And that's exactly the energy that makes it show up. Because once you stop searching for proof, once you stop waiting, once you stop looking for signs, you step into the energy of already having it. And that's the energy that pulls it towards you effortlessly. So from this moment on, stop looking for it. Stop waiting for it. Stop questioning when it's coming. Instead, step into the energy of knowing. And the moment you do, everything starts shifting. Now, let me show you how to stay in this state without falling back into doubt. Stay with me. Staying in the state without slipping into doubt. Now that you've stopped chasing, the next step is staying in the state of already having it without slipping back into doubt. And this is where most people mess up. At first, you might feel confident. You might think, "Okay, I've got this. I know it's already mine." But then, a few hours pass, a day, maybe two, and suddenly that little voice creeps in. "Wait, but where is it?" That moment is a test, because the second you start searching again, doubting again, checking again, you undo everything. You slip right back into the energy of not having it. So how do you stop that from happening? You make peace with not knowing when or how it will happen. Read that again, because this is where the real shift happens. Most people can assume for a moment, but they can't let go of the timeline. They can't surrender the how. But if you can, you become unstoppable. Because the moment you stop obsessing over when it will come is the moment you prove to reality that you already have it. And when you're no longer chasing, no longer waiting, no longer desperate for signs, it has no choice but to show up. So from this moment forward, when doubt creeps in, do nothing. Let it pass. Let it go. Because when you can sit in that space without reacting, without forcing, without needing, you step into effortless receiving. And that's when everything starts moving towards you. Now let's talk about the final step, the part that locks this into place permanently. Stay with me. Locking it in and letting it flow. At this point, you've done the two most important things. You've stopped chasing. You're no longer operating from a place of waiting, searching, or hoping. You've stayed in the state. You've learned how to sit with uncertainty without breaking the energy of already having it. Now comes the final step, locking it in and letting it flow. And here's the key. You must make peace with the silence before the manifestation. This is where most people fall apart, because after they finally stop chasing, after they settle into knowing, they start expecting an immediate shift. They think, okay, I'm doing everything right, so where is it? And the moment that thought creeps in, the moment they start looking for proof, they unknowingly pull themselves right back into waiting mode. And that's the trap, because waiting mode is still chasing. It's still coming from a place of lack, doubt, and uncertainty. But here's what you need to understand. There's always a gap between assumption and reality catching up. That gap isn't a delay, it's alignment. Reality isn't testing you, it's recalibrating itself to match your new state. Think about it like this. Imagine you planted a seed. You water it, give it sunlight, and then what? You don't stand there every second staring at the soil, demanding that it sprout right now. No, you trust that beneath the surface, things are happening. The roots are forming. The growth has already begun, even if you can't see it yet. But most people, they get impatient. They dig up the soil, checking for progress. They doubt whether the seed is growing at all, and in that very act, they interrupt the natural process. This is exactly what happens with manifestation. The moment you start questioning when it's coming, the moment you start looking for signs, the moment you start wondering if you did something wrong, you disrupt the flow. So in this final step, your job is simple. Keep living your life. Stay in ease. Refuse to stress about it. Because when you can hold that energy, when you can sit in silence without scrambling to make something happen, you're proving to reality that you already know it's done. And when you truly know it's done, it has no choice but to show up. And the best part? It won't just come. It will come in a way that feels effortless, natural, and even better than you imagined. So from this moment on, when doubt creeps in, when impatience starts pulling at you, do nothing. Not because you don't care, but because you already know it's done. And once you can do that, you'll never chase again, because everything you want will start chasing you. There's always a gap between assumption and reality catching up. That gap is not a delay. It's alignment. Reality isn't testing you. It's not a delay. It's not a test. And it's not the universe making you prove how badly you want it. It's reality recalibrating itself to match your new state. Because the moment you shift, the moment you step into the version of yourself that already has it, everything around you begins to adjust. But here's the thing most people miss. Just because you don't see it happening right away doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because there's no immediate proof doesn't mean things aren't already shifting behind the scenes. And this is where most people fall apart. This is the final test, not from the universe, but from yourself. Because after they stop chasing, after they finally step into trust, they start looking for instant results. They start thinking, okay, I've done the work. Where is it? And the moment they do that, they slip right back into a state of waiting. Waiting creates resistance. Resistance creates blocks. And before they even realize it, they've undone all the progress they made. So in this final step, your job is simple. Keep living your life. Stay in ease. Refuse to stress about it. Because when you can hold that energy, when you can sit in the silence without scrambling to make something happen, without questioning, without doubting, without checking for signs every 5 minutes, that's when the real shift happens. It's in that space of trust that reality starts bending to you. So from this moment on, when doubt creeps in, when impatience starts pulling at you, do nothing. Not because you don't care, but because you already know it's done. And once you can do that, you'll never chase again, because everything you want will start chasing you. Now you know. Manifestation isn't about doing more. It's about allowing. The moment you stop chasing, stop checking, stop waiting, everything falls into place. You don't have to force it. You don't have to beg for signs. You don't have to wonder when or how. Because when you truly step into the state of already having it, reality begins to shift to match it. And now it's up to you. You can go back to overthinking, second guessing, and waiting. Or you can do the one thing that changes everything. Nothing. So here's what I want you to do. Type, "I let go and it flows" in the comments to lock this in. Declare it. Feel it. Let it be final. And if this resonated with you, like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all.